This is a picture of a boulder slide which occurred late in 2016 at Mongeba, a small community neighboring Grafton on the slopes of the Western Area Peninsula. The granite structure of the Western Area Peninsula is over 2 billion years old. Forest and the soil substrates which support them have been around for less than a fraction of that time, and portions of the forest are shed off periodically in the form of landslides, boulder rolling, and mudslides. Last year's landslide at Motome became a mudslide when taking into account the slurry of topsoil that is washed down from the hills of the western area. Deforestation and land encroachment are the drivers of forest degradation that allow the topsoil to become exposed until this process is then accelerated by a heavy downpour of rain. When thousands of gallons of water mix with soil and accelerate beyond the highway speed limit for vehicles, the barrage is enough to cause devastating damage and even sweep away entire structures that stand in the way. Iron is no match for water in situations such as this. Steel can be bent as easily as rubber. This car was reduced to scrap metal under the sheer weight of the rock and earth material that was swept down from the overlooking hills. For many houses caught in the landslide, their fate was either to be swept away or left in a condition resembling a war zone.
Up here, we structure we build for conserve the Western Area Peninsula National Park. We for work with National Protected Area Authority, NPAA, under the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, including Environmental Protection Agency, EPA.
Sheku Imam Rogers is a well-known conservationist and Western Area chairman for community tree planting who heads his own community-based organization called BRACO. He visits the site at Matome and indicates the rough location where the EPA invested over $29,000 to build a co-management shelter where most of his tools and equipment were located. 12 other member organizations of his environmental forum also lost their documents and logistics in the collapse of the slope. But there was much expectation when the shelter was launched in 2013.
Me and Mr. Prince Kalon, the District Forestry Officer for Western Area. Now, within Mount Sugarloaf this morning, we can see how things go and how UNICEF would see them. And let we all judge them better, they will take appropriate measures. Like we start map so now, yeah, now the place this way, we will try for develop with the help of with partners like EPA. We will try for put the structure now when the forest guards the young center. This is the center. This now then just for day we then go be fully involved in the protection drive. As you can see, this area always they go so. Now being heavily forested area, then area also at the sea. They will be heavily forested. But due to encroachment and this land grabbing one way or the other, they don't actually heavily encroach this place. So it's like we need to do more. And because of the fact that the importance added to the Sugarloaf Mountain, that make we don't decide say the Forest Center for there for the protection of the Sugarloaf. As you may know, this Sugarloaf now a treasure for the Freetown municipality and even the surrounding communities within this area. Because now water source, now water catchment area, again water source, again water catchment area then, where they give water to the communities then. And it go out to Freetown. So it's like Sugarloaf actually is a treasure for us. And the kind way how people then they grab the land, the way the encroachment they, we see as a very important for we sort of base the forest garden there permanently. In fact, they get for the together with some police, the way they will help we in the protection drive. You see, so as you can see this area, so they go so all this can be heavy forested area. But look at this area today. Now they don't bam, everything don't go away. Now you can see houses and all scattered about. You know, not it's supposed to be. If we get for allow development to carry away the principle of conservation, then we will get a negative impact of our livelihood. So now make it ensure that all the areas so they not go past this area again for camp towards the core forest. This is now the core forest. This one is the core forest of the Western Area Peninsula Forest Reserve at around Sugarloaf region area. This is the core forest. So this core forest is a value something for our livelihood. So if we get allow deforestation to take place when a principal challenge, we not go allow that to happen. So we make sure say at least deforestation is actually being controlled. That is why we try for sure farm them. All the things will happen. We try for at least bring up trees. We'll go plant from this entire go so with the reforest back. We do reforestation of the area so they go so. As you can see, them people they wait to map. Themselves, they can see what's going to happen. Some of them they way now the contractor with the work here, and the one in the way they need in a forest garden. They all did for this protection drive.
Yeah, why do you call you forest garden? Let introduce them.
Yeah, gentlemen, the forest garden, you guys come around, let family and see you now, and let I tell them say, I mean you guys are very, very instrumental in this protection drive, and you are doing very, very well. So now that's not the thing. There are challenges, you see. There are challenges actually, but we are trying to at least put things under control. As you can see, this gentleman is Mr. Augustine P. Buba. Now, I'm very, very much instrumental in this protection drive. And the agroforester assigned to WHH Well Stronger Hive, we are a co-partner in this protection drive. And same way so, we don't be a very senior man in the forestry division, where as a retire so, now in a call him back, because in service is paramount. As you can see, this other gentleman is Mr. John Conte. John Conte, now I'm away, it's map tracker for ladies protection tribe, very, very successful, and he's a team leader of all the forest garden when they need at this cluster. And added to him is Mr. Samura. Mr. Samura, we commonly they call him cat, and one man way a very, very hard working. Now my way they work on the rain, they work on the sand for ensure say at least the protection drive is very, very successful. Same also we get Abu Bakar Bangura, now a young man way in don't decide say he go spend in life with forestry because he don't see say conservation is very, very important. Water and forest and life. Now one man way to map Tranga one follow ensure say the Sugarloaf is protected and we are doing very, very well. Well, as we go along with the show, we have some other area. There's some important places where we get challenges actually, but we are on top of the situation.
Well, Mr. Kalon, being that the forest guard them, now they really day on the day-to-day patrol of the forest. I want to make less some of them, describe to family them, what's the constraints where they get when they patrol this forest. Because if they may not be get constraints, like the forest for don't they intact. But obviously there is some clash between them and the community where they grab this land. So dear, I want to make lady forest guard them, tell me some of the problem them where they get and the work where they do.
Yeah, they tell you the work where they get for do. The constraint where they get, now then constraint are challenges them. They can't tell you the challenges and where they get. So we start with the team leader. What are the challenges they want to get in this protection drive?
I think challenges in Boku. As you can see the forest, you find out say they don't encroach into the forest, deep one, because the community people where they around this community, they see say this forest they and a land, and this Ministry of Lands not get land now in the penetrate to the forest for them and grab this land. When then they in tussle for the land here, because we they prevent them not from going into this core forest for let them brush them, and then they insisted they one place for Lidom. And we know, Sidom, this particular forest, it just go in vain like that. Because this particular forest, now in they call the rain, where the rain they come and where they make, where they get water for where we live. So we they in touch with them. But we try to sensitize them, but still some man is able to understand. We call them into a meeting, we call them to a symposium, some man still understand. So we they still appeal to them. This forest here, if you go, then we life there at stake. Because this forest here, it means a lot to we as Motamane, even for live. So that's the suggestion of the goal. And the other constraint is with the Ministry of Lands. As you see, and they give paper for, say, person don't get land. Then place here they can and just do survey like that. And then even they relate with we as a forestry division. So a lot of constraint because they just can adversely they can begin put tape, just they run tape now for sell land to people them. And the other thing is, we constrain here. I mean, it's unfortunate for them with the certain thing here because even the chiefs there, the man the way, and then for Sidon Harris and inside people there, they're all involved by this land grabbing. So I believe say we can call them again, and I believe the government can take a stand for calling a man there. Then chiefs there for sensitize them. So this particular forest here, I think the older encroach and so for tap so. Because we continue to encroach the water where we depend on, it go dry up. Because the forest and they call the rain. And the rain, the forest and they call the rain for to preserve the water. So I believe say I will consider that one day.
Okay. Mr. Samura, you will agree with what you team leader don't talk?
It's quite correct because as you can see now, another concern again this stone mining, a cause for concern because erosion they take place now. Since the people they cut down the trees and everything, they try for grab land. Thereby the people where they try for get the stone there for build and building. And with down there they cause some erosion will lead to something else. In fact, you can see no more stone in the road go down where even they go destroy people in place. Another point of concern again, they find out say we get pillars there. We will pillar the forest. You see that red wire under. Major concern back people go beyond them pillar, they brush behind it, even though we don't create buffer zone. Then another concern back where the money we at this point in time, we find out say people they broke the pillars for pull the road inside it. When a great concern to we and to the community.
Okay, Abubakar, if you don't appear on ENVIROSCOPE once of them, you go around, with your GPS, you do them, water catchment area, the side don't plan tick them. You see the thing they carry on go find, or you still they get this problem with the community?
Well, most of the sites I would take GPS. The last people that don't go survey they give to people. Like as they see, Congo that might be say, easy for let guy. Now it don't dry. Past now they get small water. If people are now left this land grabbing our western area, we get forget disaster will be so we not get for expect for long getter.
Okay, well, famble them, don't hear you waiting the forest guard them, they don't talk. We then self then at the ground for protect this forest here. So. But you get the forest or you get the community side by side with the forest. I guess one man with the inside this community, Mr. Foreign Koroma, Ingo Kam, and Foreign Koroma now the person this will meet as a focus person. Now the man this will talk to for let himself talk to the youths them and the community in this area for we lack the environment. So for it, you understand what's in a land grabbing, not so? And you don't see, say, until we get for stop, not so? Well, whose effort you make as a community man, you get Boko youths them behind you for ensure that this area protects them and conserve them.
The efforts we try for talk with my colleagues then, the youths then and the community. Say yes, Lord, we stop this land grabbing. Lord, we work with the foresters then. Any side whoever the demarcation where they show we say yes, yeah. Now the core forest this, let us not pass. So we say we try for tell them, the chiefs them, and the youth man then we try for tell them say yes. Lord, we listen to we brothers and we tell them talk. We are the foresters then. And as we concern inside the community, we are the stakeholders then at this area. Definitely we have to go all out. Satisfied and they don't want waste some people that they come up far distance when they can't browse. They damage the forest. But all now right now the foresters they don't put everything in place. Because the Air Force SF can one time this SF advocate to people and say nobody not for enter in this area. And that happened in the presence of we all. So as a community person, me, Seth and me, others then, colleagues then, we all go around and we tell people and say yes, Lord, we protect this forest because water na life. You see, without forest, we're not going to get water.
Yeah, family then, as like you see, the forestry is being now divided into a sort of two sectors for management reasons. These people are under the sea. Now we call it Western Area Peninsula Forest Reserve Pillar. The forest where they start from here for Goso, now the core forest. These are the core forests. This pillar they serve as a four forest boundary. Then the other area under the sea is the Goso, now buffer zone. And this buffer zone is set aside for management reasons. Now, the only thing we allow in this buffer zone, now small agriculture development, like then community where they around for do agriculture day, we can give them day based on memorandum of understanding. We can give them day for let them do something day, but not allow them for do any permanent structure because same way so, then AI all will conserve for biodiversity. And don't forget, this deforestation it will lead to a lot of things. And for there as a principal attention for any nation, like any nation in the world, deforestation will take place there. But more so, African continent, now there more deforestation take place.
The structure was to symbolize law enforcement and practically serve as a staging post for forest guards and civil society to closely monitor the rates of deforestation and encroachment and other illegal activities in the forest.
I'm Alpha Mara. I work under the Ministry of Agriculture. And the officer with the job NPAA. National Protected Area. The boss for the gas them. When the forest game gas them. Now them tin up so. And the boss.
Like it's waiting on our responsibility.
Yes, well, we the forest game guard them. With responsibility when government give away the authority, we therefore and for CC, nobody no can at the national park area, when at the protected area. We don't need any person there for cut stick or for burn charcoal or for go do any kind of thing inside the forest. So we there for as an officer, we are the forest game guard.
Thank you.
Jump. On this position, when I say bring down, halt. You don't understand?
Yes, sir.
You don't understand?
Yes, sir.
Listen up. Bring down, halt.
This northernmost side of the then Western Area Peninsula Forest Reserve was heavily affected by land grabbing, thus leaving public officials in a race to regulate and control the area. This co-management center was built with community labor and skills. For 2 years, the new structure succeeded in halting the onslaught of encroachment that had been progressing rapidly up the hill. Then tragedy struck. At 11 a.m. on the 20th of January 2016, 2 years after the forest reserve had been declared as a national park, the center suffered an arson attack. The government and the Protected Area Authority have still not been able to trace the arsonists who were seen chasing the forest guards from Regent. ENVIROSCOPE arrived to discover that the roof was dismantled in some portions and fuel had been poured into the building from the rafters in order to set the structure alight. When our film crew arrived, we could still feel the heat from the blaze. With forest guards now out of the way, unscrupulous individuals recommenced with their encroachment activities unabated until 22 months later when a bigger disaster struck, sleeping residents during the early morning hours of August 14th, 2017. Dozens of houses and over 400 lives were buried, with many more lives and property still unaccounted for today. Half a year later, on the 15th of March 2018, we joined survivors of the disaster as rehabilitation efforts commenced in an effort to stabilize the hill and replace the vegetation that was lost. Sheku Imam Rogers was there to offer his expertise in tree planting.
When the incident happened August 14 as an environmentalist conservationist, when they work in the Western Area Peninsula Forest, whether a national park, I make sure that I meet with the communities there, all the communities where they involved, Matome communities, I meet with Pentagon, Kaningo, Kondifam, Kamayama, Kaningo, Lombi community, I all meet with them. November 2nd, where we get all the information for them. We go on the ground, you see all the places where there be 10 feet water catchment area. It don't expand to 400 meter off. Where it go happen to say this rainy season, if we don't make fast, I decide say I talk to the people and say I approach government, particularly the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security. We approach them, we approach EPA, we will get a consultation with them. That Mr. Kamara, Sid Kamara, where the outreach manager were responsible for reforestation, talk with them. He even mentioned to me, say, there are so many areas where are disaster-prone area. But like Mudslide area, they tell me, say, a scientist people and belong cover the approach area. So the community will hold meet with them November 2nd, 2017. They talk to me, say, for do a tree planting. President right now, after they talk so, we don't begin raise nursery. We don't begin talk to people that they involve on tree nursery. For them to do nursery of seedlings. If you no longer right now when they say they're ready for support the community, we appreciate them and tell them plenty thank you. Because from November this time in the vision, what will they think about? For their advocate, SLBC advocates, radio culture, even involve the community then for the response, community response. But government of Sierra Leone will give me a project where it was a pilot project for involve 56,000 different types of seedlings. The Awelon die, they will make a sort of a flower park for the Awelon die. We will plant a beautiful flower there. For the project, they will give me funding.
The mad dash for natural resources. During the same month that the victims of the landslide and mudslide were still clamoring for help, the Forestry Division had already given the go-ahead for timber exports. Meanwhile, in the western area, Sheikh Imam Rogers is relentlessly trying to get stakeholders to buy into his initiative to allocate the replanting of Motomé to the civil society stakeholders who pioneered a successful 5-year co-management project brokered at the time of the Gola Forest National Park launching and finally culminating into praises for the government and the establishment of a formal Western Area National Park. But it is not just advocacy. Much practical work has to be done on the ground. Bracco says he is addressing two problems at once. He uses plastic satchels from water packaging and recycles them into planting pots. Various species representing the natural vegetation that was lost at Motomé are intermingled with economically viable trees which will provide the disincentive for them to be cut down at a later time.
We go there behind Julius Mandabio for make sure that anything will go wrong, we get the information directly, because we are committed to put Sierra Leone first and we vote for Sierra Leone. I appreciate the way all the entire youth in this country show understanding on peace issue. Peace, really, I believe, say, we, this present government here, will make sure that they utilize the youth. Sierra Leone youth get knowledge. They get knowledge. Just need no more for them to improve their capacity, train them for them to do. If you want to like this, you will do so. Now you try and do the work. I give them a technical idea, show them how for do stacking. These are the polypods you will use. These are the polypods you don't fill up with good manure, a healthy manure, for make sure that we nurse seeds like this. If you watch the seed, I don't put it inside the polythene bag. These are the seeds here will nurse. I don't catch other one corner here. We are technically inclined. I believe say the government under the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security for support Bracco and FORAC, where we don't work Environmental Protection Agency, they know we don't work National Protected Area Authority.
The Environment Protection Agency has also visited the site at Motomé and underscored the need for advocacy, but also the need to respect and adhere to the boundaries of the forest, commonly known as the Green Belt.
Well, I think we need to continue to enforce the rule of law, as it is as a government, with the support of UNOPS, ONS, EPA, we do some stops after which we will do some massive tree planting and make sure so we demarcate. We go back to the original cut of boundary. We get the green belt, they go back to the green belt, they don't maintain them, and make sure say people not build within our limits there and continue to protect this space. Secondly, we need to enforce, go back on continuous awareness raising. Talk to people and know the dangers we involve with people in dinner. One thing we don't happen, no other something like that repeat again. And the only way that will happen is for make sure say enforcement they go on, the awareness raising back they go on, let people know the danger and hazard we involved with the kayak. The sad thing they happen right now, people don't begin come back for cancer to line. You see new rooms, side way people don't demolish, people they cry for patch and back and make way for them can settle. And most of them people don't begin, don't repatriate them, don't compensate them. So man, they don't even take money from government. So I think with the see that kind here is alarming. And with the guy in season they come, not all time government will can't spend money, so you have to go you can't spend money for people who don't suffer from disaster. I think yourself as a citizen is going to get a responsibility for make sure so you protect yourself, protect your country, and save the country for spend resources for the use for support education, health, and other sectors of government. We as a government will make sure say we make this hard, and the one they don't begin come, or maybe they don't say them for left here. If they continue for there, they will face the full penalty of the law.
Now, with rehabilitation underway, some civil society stakeholders in the environment, like BRACO, are expecting to work with an invigorated forestry division in a new direction that is devoted more towards conservation and less towards commercialization of forests in a country that is the third most vulnerable to climate change hazards and where the highest death toll due to a single day of natural disasters for this century has been recorded. In this program, we have seen that the geology of the western area makes it naturally prone to landslides. We have seen how housing settlements create more pressure on the already fragile forest landscape. Practices such as the construction of homes in the path of waterways can have a devastating consequence. But we have also seen efforts by the government to correct this, and we have heard various stakeholders repeat the advice for us to respect the boundaries of protected areas. My name is Harold Williams. Please take care of your environment.